Hello, beautiful people. Um, this is a short video update from me. Um, as you could read, I have a small problem here with my lungs. I have it for a couple of weeks now, and not really sure what it is. And we're we're working on it, and in different ways, and well, hoping that for the best and that it's soon over because it takes a lot of energy. I'm very easily physically tired, and if there's one thing I truly hate, it's exactly that, because I like to work with my body, and if I can't do what I want with it, then it gets a little bit difficult here. So yeah, it just feels like a personal quest, and but I don't feel sick. There is a something with my lungs, but um, I don't have to cough a lot, and so it's more like it's whatever is going on in there. It's stuck in one place. So what I want to talk about is a little bit more of about the rule of law, not with the book of Ines Wesky. I'm coming back to that, but for now it's from my own point of view. Like I've said many times before, but for the people who see me for the first time, I'll just, it's not for the people who know me then. So skip it. I was legally adopted, and to say it in short means as child trafficked, as a child trafficked by people who became my Dutch parents, and who worked together with uh, several people, and together they were all connected to a network who in the early 70s and 80s, and even further on, but then it was uh, taken over by their own children. um, they yeah, they arranged adoptions in a way totally not legal, fraudulent papers, um, and sometimes knowing where the children came from, sometimes not. Um, and it really is like a whole network. Transportation, everything had to be arranged. In my case, those people were having several houses in the areas where the child trafficking hubs were the biggest. And they had a house where children came in, and future parents could wait there or in the nearby area, wait for the papers, the fraudulent papers were ready for the children, and everything was in order to travel back to in this case, the Netherlands. Um, so yeah, this way um, of getting children into whatever country with those fraudulent papers about their background, um, and with in this case, this whole network worked the same way every time, and basically um, they wiped out all of the information, the original information about children, parents' names, family names, the real birthplace, birth time, etc. So nothing of the information in the end is useful if I or people like me would go back and go look for their roots. So it's made very difficult, not to say impossible. Doesn't mean they do not know anything. It just means that in this case, this network choose for um, well, not telling anything about what they know and stick together with that and um, not that long ago, this whole network was still working with the children from the people who started it back then. So it's like family company business thing. So when the parents die or get too old, the children of those people are continuing doing this highly criminal activities. And while I'm speaking tonight, there is a very interesting documentary on NPO2. Um, Child of This Time, Kind van deze tijd, uh, Kind van de tijd. And well, I have a Facebook connection with this person's uh, wife, and in that way, so I follow their life stories a bit via social media, and it's very interesting. And I really recommend watching this. Probably this we have a very slow Wi-Fi connection here, so probably you will see this video tomorrow, and because of that you can watch it back on MPO. It's a two doc, and well, I'll put a link that goes with this, and that you can easily find it and read the story. It's very it's very recognizable, and it was a Tim, the person it is about is Tim and his Dutch adoption father, and he's from Indonesia, and well, there for me there it was a very trigger thing. His story, I can relate to that in many ways, and of course everybody's story is a bit different, and everybody has its own his hers own way to get a grip on it, and yeah, to deal with it. And but there are a lot in every story like this. There is a lot of recognition, and that's a good thing. There was also another story about this in a Dutch newspaper, Volkskrant, and it's about she is I believe she's 50 now, and adopted a woman, um, uh, made her adoptive parents uh, testify under oath about her origin, and that's the first case I know about this, and so it's very interesting. Um, I also put a link about that with this video. This has to do with law again, of course, because this actually got to court, and the the adoptive parents of this woman had to had to tell them what they knew about her origin, about her about her uh, roots, and the story about that and where she came from. So that's the first case I know about this. So it's very interesting to me. What surprised me also was, and this is really, I I I know I do tell you sometimes a couple of things over and over, but it's also for the new people, and it's also for the people who already know, because a lot of these cases, when it's about illegal adoption, which is child trafficking, but it's a politic correct uh, term to call it like that. Um, but until now, many of those cases who got to court were um, were a lot of these cases were in the hands of the law firm who helped creating het Verdrag van Den Haag, the Convent of The Hague, which is a law of legalization of child trafficking. It's this law is designed to continue with child trafficking. Just call it a little bit different, and doesn't matter. Back door always stood wide open for the pervert system behind it, which is called child trafficking, and they call it illegal adoption because the adoption lobby is very strong, and the word adoption always sounds very beautiful and humanitarian, etc., etc., which it's not. And um, I think that 8 out of 10 adoptions were not adoptions, but were illegal adoptions, which means were based on child trafficking, which has been made possible because of a law especially created and designed for it. So it seems like there is a really good system of controlling the whole adoption world, and um, that there is supervision, real good supervision, and strong rules and laws, and it really seems like that, and it's not. And a lot of people like me are explaining that via interviews, podcasts. Um, their stories are more and more often in magazines, newspapers, videos like this, and I think it's only the tip of the iceberg, because it's so huge and it's so entangled with all of those things about children we are finding out right now, um, that it seems like a very small part the Netherlands had in this whole thing. But believe me, in this whole children thing and child pornography, child trafficking, sex trafficking, um, uh, in this whole sleazy, dark world, what's going on with children, and more and more people finding out about it. Thank God. Um, the Netherlands has a huge part in it. More than 80% now of the child pornography spread through the world is via the Dutch servers. So 80% of the world, which what is available of child pornography and snuff, uh, sniff movies and stuff like that, it's really, really bad. On the, and the dark web about all the dark things about children. 80% comes via Dutch servers into the world. Um, Hence, the child trafficking thing is also very high in the Netherlands because children are transported via Schiphol and Scheveningen, uh, the the haven of Scheveningen, with containers coming in and getting out without um, any supervision. Um, there are many testimonies about ships with containers who, when they come in, go on the containers are not going to the same entrance with supervised cameras and personnel who is checking all the loads inside. They are shipped right next to them without any supervision, without any people watching what is going on there. So, um, and that's where the, the trafficking takes place in a huge scale as well. So, um, I'll put also a link to an interview I did about all this. It's in Dutch. I'm very sorry about that, but it's in Dutch. Um, and me explaining all this and about the comfort of The Hague and how there was a human lawyer's office in Amsterdam who had several very important clients um, who were illegally adopted with fraudulent papers and blah blah blah, and were supported by this law firm. This law firm has this has cooperated and has a huge part in creating the comfort of The Hague like we know it today. And I'm not the only one telling you this. Ruli Post, a whistleblower about all this, will tell you the same thing. Um, Many adoptive people in the out of the adoptive community will tell you the same thing, and it's nowhere written on paper that who at, well it obviously is, but it's not accessible to us to find really easy the information about who created the het Verdrag van Den Haag. um, so it's not transparent, but there was a very important role in it for the Netherlands, like they have in all this children shit show stuff. And you don't see them, you don't hear them, but they always have a huge part in this uh, very dark thing with children. And so that same law firm um, was representing clients against the state of the Dutch state with uh, with cases about illegal adoption. And um, yeah, which didn't came really much further. And well, so I think we're still as far as we are used to. But with the case, and it's a very strange double play, because if when you are in the uh, design designing and creating de Conference of the Hague, het adoptieverdrag, then it's very, very weird. You are supporting clients as a saving angel, uh, and represent them their cases against the Dutch state. Um, um, yeah, it's weird. I also work together with this law firm, and I won my case, but that was different. Had to change my name and 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 gender in my passport, and so they did that, and eventually, after way too many years, I started the whole procedure in 2014, and in 2022 my new passport was ready. Yeah, and the procedure is was in 2040 made more easy. And so yeah, they were cutting themselves in the flesh with their laws and rules. And so they have to give me this win. And I stopped it there because I already understood that with this firm, and I already noticed it as well, I wouldn't come any further against the Dutch state. So I didn't. But now I think 2 days ago, I read this piece in the Volkskrant about this woman who got her adoptive parents testify under oath about her uh, her, her roots, where she came from, and um, that she was represented with a whole different name of lawyer. And I looked it up, and yeah, it's very interesting because it's the law firm of the son of Peter R. de Vries, and the son of him, and his uh, wife, the wife of the son, uh, and that woman, Annemiek van Spanje, is the lawyer of this woman who made this happen. So it's very interesting. Is it hopeful? I don't know, but it is a very nice twist that it isn't the human rights lawyer's office in Amsterdam, which I know from my own case, and the case of well, for example, Patrick Noordhoven, also Brazilian. So yeah, so let's see what happens. It was a nice surprise, and I think, although it's a bit weird, also I think it's a huge change that this particular case one was not involved with that um, law firm. So yeah, and of course, because of my uh, of my illegal adoption, uh, which is child trafficking. It's of course it made my interest in law and rights, in the rule of law and human rights. Yeah, of course I always was interested in it already when I was very young, and when I found out it was about an illegal adoption, it grew on me, and um, especially how that system, like all the other systems they created, just really are so infected and are so became so dark and perverted that uh, yeah, totally destroyed systems which are only seen that they only seem to work for the criminals and not for the victims of that criminality. So um I dig and I dig and I dig, and I'm still digging into it, and I still find a very strange and odd things, and I collect them, and then I'll make video about it again. Um, but what I also figured out was, uh, in my case, they needed, in Dutch it's called meervoudige kamer. So there were three uh, judges, and well, it was it's often a sign that they find it a difficult case, and it has to be viewed by more um, judges than just one. Okay, so in my case was the thing, they had to let me win the case because their own rules were very uh, they were in conflict, and because they made rules for also for changing names, changing gender more easy. And it took so goddamn long for me to change it all, um, that and the 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 illegal adoption story together uh, made it very difficult for them to not let me win this. But obviously, they rather had not let me win this, because every win for an illegal adoptive person is yeah, is against the state. So and they have to admit that. So yeah, uh very good for me, very bad for them. And this case from I used for as an example from the Volkskrant, that is it's a difficult thing, but it's a very positive thing, and it's a new um, point of view with new possibilities for illegal adoptive people to um, to to get to know more information about themselves, and the right to information is more important than that those poor old adoptive parents should be left alone. They made a choice back then, do it this way. Many of them had questions and felt that this was a very weird way to get these children in, but they did it anyway because their wish for a child was more important, and was more important than to uh, admit that the right to know who you are is more important than anything else in this whole process of choosing to do this illegally. And um, um, yes, I truly believe there were very good intentions, but I also do believe there were a lot of people like my adoptive parents who had very different alternatives. And then I didn't even have spoken yet about all those pedophiles who uh, who were able to get these children. So um, I think it's a good thing that um, there is now there is now admitted via a law firm who made it happen in court that that it is via the system of justice that it is proven that uh, the people who know more must uh, must give the information they know. And it's a goddamn bloody shame that it took this long. The woman we are talking about is 50. The adoptive parents are in their late 70s, and um, there's so much time threw away, and there's so much pain and uh, anger that goes with this from our side, and grief. And um, then I didn't even uh, talked about the grief, anger, hurt on the other side. Uh, my birth family and our birth families, and uh, yeah, I think this is a very important turning point in this whole process. Uh, and there wasn't, I'm not sure how long that was ago, but there was a new rule law involved after the Joustra committee, and which stated that there is a right to information, and um, uh, so the people who know more, and there is in my case also, those people know more and they refuse to tell me, but because now um, of this um, new case, it's possible to um, get more information. But the sad thing is, it has to go to court. It costs mm, it costs so much money, energy, And yeah, it's really weird. People choose to be forced to tell what they know. And in my case, because it's different and they have a lot at stake, because it was a business they were part of and running, um, they're not gonna tell. They're not gonna tell a thing. And um, so yeah, if I, I'm gonna find some more information about my roots, then it has to come out of documents which are already asked for in another big case, which is very similar to mine, and with a lot of information which is also interesting for me. And when that is given, and it must be soon, then then I will know more. But until then, uh, I won't, and that is something we have to deal with. And people have give people like me many names, and a lot of labeling, and uh, yeah, which was of course very handy for the adoption pro lobby. And because they never make any mistake, it's always people like me, and the people who were trafficked. Yeah, so um we're gonna turn it around, and we're gonna make a very huge shift. And it's a process. It's a very challenging process, but I think it's worth it. Um and I will know my roots. And what I do know for now is that it is Brazilian. So I love the music, I love the language. I learn European Portuguese here, but I'm also studying it via internet, Brazilian Portuguese. So yeah, and it's all bits and pieces from my roots, and I cherish them, and I love them, and I'm proud of it. And this was it for now. I'm coming back real soon because I have so much all about the rule of law. And but the whole child trafficking thing is something so also intertwined with law, and uh, yes, with not so much justice for us yet, but it will come. It will. So I have a lovely day. I'll be back soon, and yeah, that was it. Be the love that you are. Ciao, ciao.